How are you? You're all looking pretty good. So if you're new here and you don't know me, my name is Joette Calabrese. I'm a homeopath for about 35 years, a mom who raised her kids using only homeopathy and gut, spunk, and moxie, as I always say. And I'm a homeopathy teacher. I am your teacher. If you already know me, welcome, friends. But my guess is that if you are here, you're interested in knowing how to take care of your family, your friends, your livestock, your pets, even wildlife, and you already love homeopathy or just now falling in love with it. So either way, I'm here for you every Monday night, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, to teach you from my Materia Medica and offer little tidbits that could save you a lot of money and a lot of suffering and time. This is for you folks. This is not monetized. I want to say that every week because I need you to know I do not monetize this. That means I don't have a sponsor. It's just you and me meeting here, but not so much the way it used to be if you're coming through Facebook Live only to. So I want you to consider joining my Joette's Mighty members, because there I tell you things and I tell my mighties things that I can't really say so well on Facebook Live. So it's a little safer place. So if you like what you're hearing tonight, please do me a favor and comment and share and send this around to others, because it is important that we get this word out. Why is it so important? Well, I'll tell you why it's important. Because we live in an unpredictable world, and we need to have personal sovereignty. We need to take this on in a very big way. Otherwise, if we have, excuse me, a little opening in our thinking, just a little divot of an opening, I guarantee there'll be someone who will come in and try to fill it in. And who are those people who try to fill it in? Experts at filling in. Experts. So I want you to remember that. Personal agency. It's very important. Don't let others sway you. In fact, don't believe me. If you don't know enough about me, or you're still questioning, I want you to question. That's exactly the kind of mentality that we want in this world today. I want you to question. Because if you start questioning, and I find that many times those folks who I'm most aligned with are homeschoolers. Why? Because they questioned the first question. How good are those public schools? I wonder if those teachers and those curriculums are all about teaching my children what I would like them to learn. And once you step outside of that box, then you can't help but step out of other boxes. I wonder about those drugs. What about those antibiotics that are given to my child every time there's an ear infection? There's got to be another way. And we start questioning, how important is it that we put weed and feed on the lawn? How important, we could keep going with this. How important is it that I do what everyone else is doing? And I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. I trained my kids, my husband and I both did, but I really emphasized it with them. Whatever everyone else is doing, kids, do the opposite, and you'll probably be doing the right thing. What does that say about our state of affair now, huh? In today's world. Something to think about. Well, you certainly know my posture on it, don't you? So, hi, Harry. Thanks for my inspiration. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. So, from Coastal Carolina, says Leanne. All right. Let's just see. I'm going to say hello to a couple people in my mighties. Good evening, mighties. All right. Let's just see. Amen, sister, says Leanne. You bet. Absolutely. Listen, you don't have to be a homeschooler to follow me. It's just that that's often who does. What I am trying to get here to everyone is the importance of the family having the sovereignty over the family's well-being, the family's health, the family's education. We want to take personal responsibility. Personal responsibility. We don't want somebody else taking our responsibilities. No, thanks. I'll take care of my family myself. I'll feed my family myself. I will do it myself. And even if I wasn't doing a good job, I'd still rather do it myself. I remember when my first son was born, he was born in the hospital, and he had a very high bilirubin level. They put him in the bilirubin lights. to bring down his numbers. And the nurse came in and I stayed with him. They said, no, 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 you go home. Go home. Are you kidding me? Go home and leave my son, my newborn baby, in a box of lights amongst people I don't know? No, I don't think so. Even if I knew them, no. So she came in to change his diaper and I said, what the? No, 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 no. I will change his diaper. Thank you very much. No, no, no. Unless there's something special going on with this little box, I'm right here. I'm sleeping in this chair next to him. I will change his diaper. It really angered me. I felt like a mama bear. No, 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 no. Anything that has to be done to this child, I will do. Now, my second and third children were born at home. And the second one had a bilirubin that was a little high. But by that time, I knew homeopathy. I knew more botanicals. I knew what to do. It was not that complicated. It did not require that my baby be put in a box and for 2 days, and that I had to live in a hospital after just giving birth. It was absolutely superfluous. So I learned what to do, and that's what I want for you: personal sovereignty. And so let's say hello to folks on Facebook. I've got 2 screens going here. Hi from Kentucky, says Cindy. And your knowledge, your charm. Thank you. My lifestyle. Thank you very much. I'm trying to become your copy. No, be the best of you. It's really the only way to go. Be the best. I know you can do it. What is her name? Amina. Nice name, Amina. Yes. Hugs and loves from Rhode Island. It's really, thank you so much, folks, for being here. What would I be if I didn't have people that I could teach to? I'm a Mighty member. How do I view on Mighty members? I don't know that I could tell you that quickly. You go to Mighty members, and I'm sure that maybe someone can help you. I'm a new Mighty member. Her name is Natasha. So if anyone could help Natasha, that would be great. I tell every young person I know, never stop asking why. Never stop questioning. Never stop being curious. I want you to be curious forever. Forever and ever. This stuff is, I tell people this all the time. Homeopathy is deliciously intellectual. It never ends. Your learning never ends. It's like, I've said this before too. So please excuse me. I don't know who I've said it to. I teach all the time, twice a week. And I talk to my clients all day long. So please accept my apologies, but it's like music. Music is never ending. Just when you learn to play the first sonata, now you have to learn how to play a concerto. And now you've got someone with you. And just when you learn, a duet, now you have to learn how to play with a small group, with a band, if it's that kind of music, or with a little concert group. And just when you learn how to read really well, now you got to learn jazz, right? Don't you want to learn jazz? Okay, what kind of jazz? New York jazz? Okay, you got the New York jazz down. Okay, what about New Orleans jazz? How about French jazz, Parisian jazz? How about California jazz? How about Chicago jazz? We could keep going with this. There's big band. We could keep going. And so what I'm telling you, it's the same thing with homeopathy. There is so much to learn, and that's what makes it delicious, because you never completely learn. But meanwhile, on your way to getting to that knowledge, you're helping folks. Okay, let's talk. Excuse me. I'm going to take a little sip of my water. The simultaneous sip, for those of you who follow Scott Adams. All righty. So we are going to talk about some remedies tonight for distorted sense of smell. Now, let me say that, and I've probably mentioned this as well, that a lot of folks think that this particular has been the only reason for a loss of smell or distorted smell or oversensitive sense of smell, but it is a very common occurrence in colds. And this is a cold of sorts. Manipulated, mind you, but a cold of sorts. So it's not difficult for us to look this up in a repertory. We don't have to look up this particular event and that it may have caused this distortion in the sense of smell. We just use a repertory. I happen to have Robin Murphy's. that I like very much. I have other repertories as well, but I like this one. It's modern. It's not going to give you the exact answer, but I'll tell you, I'm going to show you how I came up with the medicines that I am using to teach people how to use homeopathy for this distortion of the sense of smell. Okay, so I'm going to show you, I'm going to hold it up. And if you can see here on this page, it says smell. I hope I'm holding it properly because it's hard for me to do so without being able to see. And there are about, excuse me, there are about, I don't know, 70, 80 remedies that we could choose from, because under that rubric, we're looking under nose, smell, general, and acute smell. Now, not everyone has an acute smell. What they do have is a sense of distorted smell. Lots of folks do. So first I looked under acute because I think that's really interesting. And as you can see, I'll hold it up again. As you can see, I'll put my finger there. As you can see down here, the remedies that are emboldened are the ones that we want to look at. They're emboldened. They are capitalized. And there are a bunch of them, but I automatically looked at colchicum, C-O-L-C-H. Why did I look at colchicum? Because I happen to know colchicum. If you use my Materia Medica, which is here, and we normally go through Materia Medica every Monday night. But in my section on colchicum, because we went through this when we were doing in alphabetical order, there are some of my notes. Under colchicum, it happens to be a medicine, a homeopathic medicine that is very specific for smells that are so acute that they can often make the person even sick. Now, I've not talked to anyone who's described that. Instead, I've been talking to folks who tell me it's just distorted. Flavors are not as tasty. I've lost interest in some tastes, or because the smell is off, etc. But I like colchicum to at least consider, because I happen to know that as a medicine that is very good for sense of smell that's off. Now, we've got some others here. We've got aconitum, aurum, belladonna. I'm not going to hold it up again because I just showed it to you. Coffea, colchicum, graphites, ignatia, lycopodium, nux vomica. I thought seriously about nux vomica. Opium, so another possibility. Phosphorus and sepia. Now, there are many. Oh, in China. Now, I also looked at, I'm going to hold it up again, okay? And I'm going to try to put my finger on it. Altered smell. Okay? Altered smell. Right there. Can you see that? Altered smell. See smell? I got the little dot there. And again, lo and behold, colchicum shows up. So does belladonna. So does phosphorus again. So does ignatia. So does nux vomica. So we're seeing some of them being repeated, okay? So altered smell. Altered smell is important because that's really the essence of the problem. It's not necessarily just acute. It's the essence of the problem. All righty. So these are two rubrics that I'm going to consider. Now I'm going to look at another section. It's the next page over. Odors, imaginary and real. Very important that we look at that, because that's exactly what folks are telling me, is that they have imaginary smells. In other words, they have the sense that they smell smoke when there is no smoke. And I've actually experienced that after a cold many years ago. I'm going to say good 20 years ago. I noticed that after having a specific cold, I smelled smoke. I would say to my husband, "Do you smell smoke?" No. And then another day later, say to my kids, "Did you smell smoke?" No, don't smell smoke. So I wondered if just my sense of smell was acute and I was smelling what others had not been able to smell, or if it was a distortion and it was a phantom smell. I finally concluded after some time that it was a phantom smell, because I noticed it not just at home, but also when we were away from home. So if I look under those, I'm going to say there are a good 100 remedies there, maybe 80. Colchicum, does it show up here? It does not show up. Graphites does. Anacardium, belladonna, aurum, kelk. Does colchicum show up at all? It's certainly not emboldened if it does. So what I'm telling you tonight, folks, is I don't have a protocol. So this is how we do it when we don't have a protocol. Nitric acid, nux vomica, sepia, sulfur. Okay, so those are showing up. Very interesting. Now I'm going to look under another section in this. I'm going to keep going. And I actually marked my book. I know people think that that's blasphemy, but I do it because I think it's interesting. I can go back to it quickly. Now it says imaginary smells, and then it breaks it down. It tells me imaginary smells of eggs, imaginary smells of cooking, imaginary smells of smoke. And so it really breaks it down. Imaginary smells of snuff, of smoked ham, of a a Swedish smell, sweet, like a sweet smell, urinary smell, and a whiskey smell. Kind of interesting, isn't it? Now, interestingly, when I ask folks about the sense of smell that they have, it's rarely in any one of these categories. They're telling me that they eat an avocado and it doesn't taste like an avocado. So it's more of a perverted sense of smell and taste because it's part of that as well. So instead, I looked under perverted, okay? Sensitive to odors and perverted. And lo and behold, here comes our colchicum again. If you can see that. I'm going to hold it up for a moment. Let's see if I can see my own fingers right there. Okay? I'm going to hold it as close as I can so that you can see what I'm seeing. Okay? Perverted, you see that? Colchicum is the third one in. It's italicized. And sensitive. Look at colchicum further down. It's underlined. Beautiful. Okay. Now, we have a lot of choices here. We could have used Nux vomica. We could use sepia. What else did I say? We could use phosphorus. We could use belladonna. We could use coffea and China. There are a lot of medicines here that we could choose. But because colchicum is noted for distorted smells and smells that are nauseating or smells that make the person nauseous, etc., we are going to settle on, we have to choose something, right? I'm going to choose colchicum. This is my best guess. Now, have I used other medicines for folks along the way? I've used sanguinaria for people. It's not in here. But the reason I've used sanguinaria, in spite of the fact that it's not in my repertory, is because I happen to know that sanguinaria is a very good medicine. We used it a lot in India at the Banerjee Homeopathic Research Foundation for distortions of smells, etc. But I found it's not doing the job. I've yet to see anyone react positively to sanguinaria, so I've scrapped it. For others that I know have skin conditions, I automatically went to sulfur because sulfur is a very skin-oriented medicine. And I've seen a little improvement in one or two people, still not big enough. But I think the medicine is colchicum. And I came to this when I decided to speak about this tonight, that I'm pretty sure this is it. Now, I don't know for sure that this is the one that's going to work across the board. But let me tell you, it's spelled C-O-L. I better look it up because I can't air spell. C-O-L-C-H-I-C-U-M. Colchicum. Autumnale is the second word, but that's not important. It's colchicum is good enough. It can also be nausea from pregnancy. And I've had 2 young women that I've been working with who've been pregnant with nausea, and I did not tell them to use colchicum. I wish I had. And if you happen to be listening to me, ladies, 2 lovely young women that I've been working with who happen to be sisters, and you're still suffering, by all means, use the colchicum that I'm talking about tonight. I think that might help you a great deal. So I'm going to suggest colchicum 30. Why not 200? Because I don't have the history of it over and over and over again. And it's not that I'm timid. I am not a timid person, but I want to just give it a trial. And what I'm going to ask folks to do tonight is to, if any of you have a distortion of smell, perverted, so it's not, things are not smelling right to you, whether it's from a, or it's just has been for a long time. If you're interested in trying this, normally the way I would suggest is colchicum 30 twice daily. And once there's an improvement, we stop. If it needs to be used again, then we start again. We resume. And then we're always looking for that tipping point. At what point can we say, I think we're done? No, Does a distortion of smell have to be associated with a virus? Absolutely not. But I'm glad you asked, Julie, although I just said it. So, Joette, my husband smells smoke. Stress angst seems to bring it on. Yes, it happens occasionally. I'm telling you exactly how I would use this now. I can smell that, strongly around the ones that took it, and less strong on people who have been close to people who got it. Not a good smell, but I see it as a gift. Can anyone else smell it? Asks Mary. I have never dreamed of mice. Well, it's interesting because some people report that they smell mice, and that is a disgusting smell. We have a cottage, and every year we have to clean out that cottage of mice droppings, and it is disgusting. And sometimes if you're involved in cleaning it up, you can't get the smell out of your nose even for days. And so I know that sensation. It's awful. All right. So next week, please report whoever has information. Let's see. What's the difference between a repertory and a materia medica? Okay, so this is a materia medica, and it's an anthology in alphabetical order of many medicines, many of the homeopathic medicines. This instead is the summation of all of human suffering according to the body parts: that mind, the head, the eyes, the nose, the throat, chest, etc., liver, all the way down. And it gives us not only the categorizing of the body parts, but then tells us which medicines are used for those conditions of those body parts. All righty. I'm watching on Mighty's, and I have to refresh my page. Please contact my office tomorrow, and I'll put the team on it. I guess there is some trouble tonight. I don't know. So that's what Natalie is telling folks to do. All righty. So let's get some questions in here. Now, it's interesting because folks often ask questions, and then lo and behold, others answer them. So thank you. Okay. Let's just see. So should we have both? I don't know what both. Oh, both potencies. Yes, why not? Okay. Let's launch into that discussion, shall we? As Peggy says, shall we? thehealthyamerican.org. If you don't know about her, I urge you to go right there as soon as we get off. thehealthyamerican.org. She's also a teacher herself, and she often says, let's take a look, shall we? Okay, let's see. A friend took Sanguinary 202 doses over 3 days, and her smell taste did return, but she had no other symptoms of virus. Isn't that? Yeah. So I do believe that it could still be valuable, but it just didn't seem to be working so nicely lately. All righty. A friend took. Okay. Do you recommend to those who have lost taste and smell completely? Same thing. I'm still going to use colchicum. Still going to use it, even though that's not what I've just described, because colchicum is a very sweeping medicine. It's very broad. Love Peggy Hall, says Shirley. Yeah, she's the best. Love Peggy. Love Peggy. She's thehealthyamerican.org. I'll say it again. You have to say the word. You have to put the word "the" in there. thehealthyamerican.org. Okay, are you recommending Eupatrim 200 if someone is exposed to someone who's had the injection? And I'm going to say, I don't know the answer to that, but why not? Why not? Right? Homeopathy has no side effects. One little bottle, what does it cost? $12? You're not going to get addicted. So, yes, I would use that. All right. Somebody's written it up for me. Thank you. thehealthyamerican.org. Let's just see what other questions we have. Now we're going to Facebook. Thanks. Ladies, and colchicum is specific for smells. Okay. Even lost smell. Yes. I suspect when there's someone who has a lost smell, because I have seen this with colds in the past, that what happens first is they get a little sense of smell, and then it's distorted. So I believe that that's often the way it works. is that there's a little increase in the ability to smell, but ick or yuck. Oh, I don't like that. Or they feel maybe even nauseous from the smell. And then as the smell returns, it starts to correct itself. Yep, there we go. Taking eupatorium. Be careful. Don't take eupatorium too long, folks. Don't be too afraid. Let me put it to you that way. Don't be too afraid. If there's someone who is extremely vulnerable, someone in their 70s who has comorbidities, who has obesity, okay, now I get it. For the kids, for the young adults, for the middle age, I wouldn't give it a thought. I really wouldn't. Okay, son of cannot is sickened by the smell of food, can eat much, tastes and smells are sickening and intolerable from any help would be appreciated. Well, Donna, listen to what I've just said tonight. And then you might want to also read up. Look, let me also tell you this. When I give you this information, go online. If you don't have my Materia Medica, look at another Materia Medica. Go to Dr. James Tyler Kent's Materia Medica. It's free. And read up on colchicum and see if it fits. It's not going to fit 100%. It's impossible. Absolutely will not. So I want you to know that in advance. You will not find a homeopathic medicine that every one of those characteristics will fit every one of the characteristics of a person. That's impossible to find. There are many reasons for it, but okay. Robin Murphy's 3rd edition repertory is probably what she's holding up. I think I have the... Do I have the 3rd edition? Yes, I do have the 3rd edition. There's a 4th edition. So yes. And it can be purchased for $60. I did not know that because when I purchased mine, it was over $100 as I recall. Let's just see what else we've got here. What version? We got that question. Robin Murphy's 3rd edition. I like Robin Murphy's work. So what about absence of flavor, lacking in coffee, not absence of smell? I can smell it when I add hot water or grind it. I would say I would still consider colchicum. It's not the only one. And maybe next time what we'll do is we'll go over taste as well. But at this point, I would still do that. What about a loss of smell from a head injury? Oh, little different. We have a medicine here for head injury. It's opium. Under that smell or altered, diminished, opium shows up. Opium is a great medicine for head injuries. Now, you're not going to give the person opium. You do understand that, right, folks? We don't use opium. We use homeopathic. All right. I have 2 clients that have this after our lovely, you know what, poor things never smell, things sewer smell. Same idea. What would you recommend to all of the fatigue after this? Well, that's a different subject because we've got 1 minute left. The smells are normal, but occasionally I smell smoke that isn't there. Yep, usually at night or when sitting too long. You got it. You bet. See all these different variations on a theme. Yep, smoke. I occasionally smell smoke. You bet. Let's get back to the Mighties here. Repertory 4th edition, about $95. Here we go. On Washington's site. Washington Homeopathics. I'm sure that's what she's talking about. And normally for these medicines, I use 30s or 200s. I think we've got it, folks. We are now at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, and I want to tell you thank you as always. Report back to me. Maybe next week we'll do another medicine, but we'll also talk about loss of taste, and we're going to see a lot of crossover. That's because if someone has loss of smell and taste, I would look at both, but I would still start with smell. Why? Because the smell is much more acute usually, and it's also critical in being able to taste, which is why I started with that. So with that, I say good night. Mwah. God bless you all. Take care of yourselves, your family. Build a moat around your home. Take care of that family and stay focused. Bye.